It's almost time to string the lights and trim the tree. But before Santa comes to town, YTD is hitting the road and heading overseas to sample some European wares. Stops in Poland, Lithuania, and the Ukraine will highlight our holiday tour. So pack only what you need and hold on tight, because this isn't a first-class trip. This is You Tried Dat! You Tried Dat! European snacks. I'm Nick Nowak with my pals Chad Hancock.
Howdy.
Nick Geiger.
Hello.
So, boys, we all know Santa Claus, Christmas will be making his way, but I was looking up some other creations from these countries that we will be eating snacks from. And have you heard of Jasonic or Jasonic? Jasonik? Have you heard of this guy?
Jasonic? Isn't that like a Japanese band or something?
So, this guy is described as the Robin Hood of Poland. All right, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about him here. You tell me what ways he seems similar to Robin Hood, what ways maybe not so much. While the English Robin Hood, a skilled archer and swordsman, the Polish Jasonic, a charming thief who plundered the countryside with a bunch of his friends. Legend had it that Jasonic was more than just a thief. Even though he plundered and even robbed the manor houses owned by the rich, he never harmed the poor. In fact, much like Robin Hood, he and his merry band of vagabonds would bestow gifts and money upon the poor. So it sounds like Robin Hood so far.
Yeah.
Now, it goes on to say, the myth says that Jasonic was more than just a man. He had supernatural powers that made him invincible to bullets and wounds.
Just like Robin Hood. Yeah.
He had the ability to move from one place to another at an astonishingly quick pace, faster than any human being. And the legend goes he was given these gifts by 3 witches. All right. He met the witches as a young boy. And because he wasn't afraid of them, the witches chose to bestow upon him, his extraordinary, courageous boy, the gifts that would make him an expert and the most famous robber of all Polish history. The 3 magic gifts were a shirt, a belt, and an alpenstock.
A what?
What?
I don't know. What is an alpenstock?
We don't know. We asked you.
But that was one of the gifts bestowed upon him.
Alpenstock.
Okay.
It's a like a trekking pole kind of thing.
Gotcha.
A long wooden pole with an iron spike tip.
Which you would kill the rich with.
Does that article end with saying, and just like Robin Hood, he was a really sexy fox?
Yes.
Is that way?
He was played by the Polish Kevin Costner.
So were you just Googling like other country Robin Hoods or like what?
Yeah, I was thinking of like first I was thinking of what is Santa Claus in other countries, what is the Christmas traditions. And then it just led to various myths and folklore.
Well, let me ask you this. How deeply did you look into these Christmas traditions from other countries? I ask for no reason in particular.
Not that deeply. Why?
Okay, good. Because otherwise you might be acing the segment in a little bit.
Oh, great.
That was literally it.
So this Polish Robin Hood had an alpiner and a magic shirt. Jasonic?
Yeah, once I found Jasonic, I stopped. And he was like the first one I found.
I mean, what else do you need beyond Jasonic? I mean, come on.
So
Total package.
I also got to find a picture of Jasonic.
And show it to the listeners? Or how are we going to do this?
Hold it up to the audio.
Of this camera. Hold it up to the microphone and let people see.
So if I search for Jasonic, I either see like a guy whose name is presumably Jay wearing a Sonic t-shirt, or it's
That's
just
him.
a bunch of like Sonic fan art.
That's the magic shirt he got.
Maybe I'm spelling it wrong.
He stole all the rings from the Polish country.
They're definitely, the 4th picture is definitely Jason fucking his beloved Sonic plush toy from Reddit.
It's the same guy.
That's really good.
Jason the murderer guy? Or just a random guy named Jason?
No, all we see is a big hairy belly and then a Sonic plush toy where his crotch is.
Oh, that's unpleasant.
I'll text it to you guys later. It's worth looking at.
It's very funny.
Yeah, it's very funny. We'll put it on the Instagram page for You Tried Dat.
Yeah.
Okay, so earlier this week, Chad, you sent us a photo of a walkway, steps up to a house that was completely destroyed, and you said there's a story to it, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah. Here's what happened. Last Sunday night, I was out walking my dog, and it was about 11 o'clock at night. So I'm walking him up the street. It's like fairly dark on this street, like some street lamps, whatever, house lights, tons of parked cars, but nobody really around, right? That's late at night. You don't see too many people out walking. So I'm walking up the hill, and I hear all of a sudden just like this kind of like retching sound coming from somewhere, and it like this like like almost sounds like
the Mummy,
a 3D Mummy lyrics or something like that, like just this groaning. So I'm looking around trying to figure out what it is. First thing I see is a woman on the sidewalk. So she's half on the sidewalk, half in the street, lying in between like two parallel parked cars, and she looks dead. Like at first I was like, is that a dead body? Like she's completely motionless. Then I look across the street, the opposite side of the street from me, and there's a parked car with the door open. And then there's a guy lying face down next to the driver's seat door, flopping around. And I can see that his face is in a giant pile of puke. And he's the one like making all these noises and stuff. And so I stand there for like a minute or two, like trying to assess the situation. Like, you know, what's going on here? Should I just keep walking? Should I see like, maybe it's a setup, you know, like they're just like pretending to be like passed out, and I get closer and they pull out a gun and rob me or something like that. You know, that could happen.
Classic scenario.
Right.
Yeah.
Playing the long con. You lay in a puddle of puke and wait for someone to walk by. Why do I always have to be a puke guy?
So, and I should say these were like kind of like older people, like maybe 60, somewhere around there. So I call out, like, finally I decide, like, hey, are you guys okay? Do you need some help? And they like, what? And you know, at first they are sort of shocked that there's like, that they're not, I don't know, asleep in their bed or something like that. But eventually they start saying like, no, like, well, you could go. Thank you so much for asking. And then the guy rolls over into his puke again. So, so at this point, what would you guys have done? Would you have just been like, all right, like, would you have even said anything to begin with? Would you keep walking? What do you think? I mean, you guys don't live in a city, so it's maybe a little bit different.
I was going to say, you and I walked around in San Francisco, and there was people like throwing flaming rags out of phone booths and shit because they were doing heroin, and like I don't know what is normal in your town. That would be unusual here. I think maybe if it was like an old person that I thought was seriously in trouble, like if an old person's laying on the ground moaning, I would assume they're hurt. So I probably would have maybe tried to help.
Yeah, I agree. I might be suspicious of the old puke me do, where they pretend they're in puke and then
the old puke me do
rob from the rich to feed the poor. But I feel I would probably call and ask if they're okay. But as soon as they said I'm fine, even if it was blumbering nonsense, I'd probably just keep going.
Okay. So my concern was that specifically the guy, he was like lying in the street, and he was wearing like a black coat. And so I was like, oh, there's actually like a decent chance here that somebody could come along and just like run this guy over. So I asked him again, like, are you okay? You know, do you need some help? And they're like, well, that, you know, you're so great for just asking. Most people would just walk by, whatever. So I'm like, all right, fine. I'm going to like help these people.
Like, I said, no, get the fuck away from
me. So I ask him like, where, you know, is there someone I can call? And the guy tells me, no, my nephew is out of town. He's in Palm Springs for the weekend. We're staying at his house, and it's right there. And it's like the house that I'm standing in front of.
It's your house. Right?
So, yeah. He's like, we're staying right there. And then he pulled a gun on me and said, take me in your house.
Take me inside, nephew.
Did he explain why he was laying on the ground at all? or like why he had thrown up?
Yeah, so I walk over to, so I tie Napoleon up, to like a post or whatever, and I walk over and start trying to like get the story from this guy, and basically they were super drunk. They had just come back from the bar, and somehow this, like, I was worried maybe they were trying to go to the bar and this guy was gonna like drunk drive or something like that, but they had just come back from the bar, somehow parallel parked, and then like gotten out of the car and collapsed onto the pavement, basically.
This guy's a pro. She
had managed to make it across the street before collapsing half on the sidewalk. So he's like, yeah, that's our house right there, with the lights on or whatever. And so he gives me his keys. I'm like, all right, I'm going to help you guys like get into your house. So he gives me his keys. I go over to the house, unlock the door, like make sure it's not like it actually is their house or whatever. So this guy he's, as I said, he's like kind of older, late 50s, maybe early 60s, completely bald, body of like a former wrestler, like easily 300 pounds, and like no neck, that kind of thing. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's like get you across the street at least. So he's like, oh, you don't want to touch me because I'm covered in puke.
You're right. That's accurate. I don't want to touch you at all.
I was not moving to touch you. It's okay.
All right, take your clothes off. That's a great point.
So I help him to his feet, and then we slowly like kind of one step, like I got his arm around my shoulder, whatever, like one foot in front of the other, get him across the street. Then I get him over to the front steps. And at this point, I'm like freaking exhausted because I'm basically hauling this like 300-pound person across the street. Like his legs are like rubber or whatever. So I'm like, I got to take a break. So I'm like, sit down on the steps. So we sit down. I sit him down on the front steps.
Oh, you want a beer? No, I don't.
And this guy's like cracking up the whole time, right?
He's having a conversation, laughing, but he's just completely dead weight.
Yeah.
All it worked was his voice.
I should say his voice like was the most slurred, you could imagine. Like this guy was so drunk. So I sit him down on the steps, and to paint a picture, because you guys have seen the steps, but our listeners haven't, it's like basically 6 or 7 steps going up to the front door with wooden railings on each side. So he's sitting down. So then I'm like, okay, I'm going to go get the woman up, get her out of the street. So I start to walk over to the woman. I get over to her. She's maybe like 10 feet away. And then I just hear this like, whoop. And I turn around and the guy has just started barrel rolling along the steps, smashes into the banister and completely takes out the entire banister before rolling off the steps and smashing onto the sidewalk.
Was he okay?
Yeah. So then I'm like, oh my God, did he just crack his skull open? But no, he's totally fine. The banister obviously was not. And he was like pinned underneath the banister. Like his arm was like pinned underneath it.
He's lying face down in his own brain matter, and you're like, do you need help, man?
Oh. Then he robbed you?
I live on the 5th floor. Can you carry me? Oh, damn it.
God. Just cracking up. I sure am heavy.
So I go over, I pull the banister off of the guy's arm, and then I'm like, I'm just gonna leave you here for a minute. Like check on him, he's fine. I'm like, I'm gonna go back to getting the woman. So I go and get her. She's like, I'm like, come on, let's try to get you to stand up. She's like, I got knee problems, so I'm not gonna be any help. And so like she basically couldn't do anything. Like I had to completely.
You're gonna have to carry me as well.
No! At the same time.
It just looks like you're kidnapping a woman off the street now.
Pretty much, yeah.
So you like firemen's carry her over?
Well, I did. I got her to her feet, and then she at that point she was able to like walk. I think she was in a little better shape than the guy.
Was she like a 300-pounder with no neck too?
No, don't take me upstairs alone. I don't like to be up there alone without him. Take us both. Just dragging 600 pounds of human up 5 flights of stairs. Ah!
God damn it.
We get over there. She's like, oh, I see there's still one banister intact. Starts rolling.
Yeah. Rolls all the way down the 7 flights, cracking all the banisters as she goes. Flopping like a fish.
Yeah, so she was actually able to, with my help, walk a little bit better, and she was like a little more coherent in the conversation. So I was able to help her walk up those front steps, get her into the foyer, and then right there at the entrance of the foyer is like the steps going up to the second floor. So she just like sits down on like the bottom step or whatever. And I'm like, okay, great. You're in the house. So now I got to go back and get this guy. And now he's like somehow even more gone than he was before.
Physically? Like he's rolling down a hill in San Francisco?
No! He's still rolling. He rolls right into the bay. Sploosh. Just cracking up. As he sinks below the water.
He rolled over onto his side and his vision just turned into like the Terminator, like targeting all the banisters on the street. So I flip him over onto his stomach and I get him to like crawl on all fours, like with my help, like I'm moving his hands and legs to the steps.
How does that work?
It wasn't easy, trust me.
You're like Weekend at Bernieing this guy into his house?
Are you reaching behind him like Patrick Swayze and Ghost?
Then when we got there, he had to pee. I needed to hold it for him.
Yeah.
He's making a banister head out of the clay.
So we get him back to the steps, get him sitting on the steps again, and he's like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get up those steps.
We know.
I
have no intention of getting you there, so that works out great.
And I'm like, well, I'm not going to leave him here at this point. I might as I want to get him inside the house. Because like if he's just lying there, he could get like robbed or something. I live in a pretty safe neighborhood, but still.
Do you have a dolly?
So that's basically what I did. Was he was sitting there with his back to the front door. And I got behind him and put my hands underneath his armpits. And then I was like, okay, on 3, push with your legs. And so we do like 1, 2, 3. And he like sort of pushes. And we literally like a moving a fridge on a dolly up steps. Just like one step at a time, like scooting his butt up step by step. Like 1, 2, 3, push over and over again. So then we get to the top and he's on the porch now. And there's no more steps for him to like push against.
What'd this guy drink?
Well, so I said to him, I was like, wow, did you guys put back that whole bottle of vodka? And he said, yeah, but it was the wine at the bar that did us in. And I'm like, pretty sure it was a bottle of vodka. So we get to the porch and he just flops over onto his back now because he's got like nothing to push or rest against or whatever.
Oh.
Or live for. So I just grabbed him under the armpits again, and then like a fucking corpse, just dragged the body into the foyer and just like flopped him onto the ground. And then so he's just lying there, and I'm like, "Can I get you a pillow from the couch or something?" And the woman goes like, "No, that'll just encourage him. Just leave him there."
Says the woman laying on her back in the street.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve it. Let me go stop traffic for another 2 hours.
I'm hungry. There's some meatballs in the back of the fridge. Could you heat them up?
Make sure to put just the right amount of seasoning on them. Not too much. In particular.
By the way, my cable's out. Do you mind wheeling the TV over and flipping it to TNT? I don't want to miss the Warriors game.
They DVR'd Hoarders.
So they're just at this point. I'm like, all right, I got to get the fuck home. They're like trying to thank me, like, can we do anything to thank you? Whatever. The guy's like trying to offer me money.
You could have robbed him.
I should have, yeah. And then first I need to puke on myself, then I can rob him. That's how it works,
right?
So then the woman's like, "Can I get your email address?" I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "So that I can write you a thank you note." And I said, "Even if I gave you my email address, you're not going to remember it tomorrow. If you really want to thank me, just write me a thank you note, leave it on what's left of your front steps, and I'll come grab it in the morning." And then like I closed the door and like went home. And the whole time, my dog just like standing there at the bottom of the steps, just giving me these fucking looks. Like, why are we doing this? There's trees to pee on.
Mm-hmm.
Did your wife wonder where you went? Like, were you like...
Well, she was actually already asleep. So
okay.
She didn't know that I was gone for that long.
She bought this whole story too?
Yeah. Well, because I went in and I sort of like woke her up and I was like, should I have like, I asked her, I was like, should I have like called the cops or something? Well, she's like, no, you got him in the house. Like, it's fine. They'll be fine after that. Like, if they were coherent enough to like talk to you and like laugh about this and stuff, they're not going to like.
I mean, if that guy died face down in his own puke, you would have certainly been found guilty of that murder. This guy was fucking manhandled the entire night, busted through a banister,
thrown down a flight of steps. Man, you were a good Samaritan, my friend.
Modern day J Sonic.
Yeah.
So, quick follow up here to the story. 2 days later, browsing Nextdoor, I see a post from somebody with just a picture of a broken banister. Does anyone know of a handyman that can repair my outdoor wood banister? Someone knocked the whole railing down when we were out of town, and it needs to be reattached to the porch stairs. Frowny face.
Someone? They didn't even own up to it?
Well, I wondered that. I think they probably just didn't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, like they probably had no idea that they did it. But even if they did, he's probably not going to put his uncle on blast, like on Nextdoor. Like, yeah, my fucking drunk ass uncle not destroyed it. Destroyed my steps while they were staying at my place.
Uncle Bob, you know what happened? No idea. It's like a banister-shaped mark on the side of his face.
Who ate my pillow? He's just laying in the foyer, stuffing coming out of his mouth.
Who erased the DVR of the Warriors game? The TV's in the foyer.
Hey, I had some special meatballs all made for dinner tonight. Do you know where those went? It's all over his front of his shirt. I think it was that Chad guy who lived by.
Who drank my vodka?
Who parallel parked my car and cut to his car? And it's like halfway across the porch, laying in the lawn.
He actually did do a decent job with the parallel park, and then when I went back, I walked past the next day to see he was actually parked in front of somebody's driveway. So maybe it wasn't that great of a job.
Well, it was the only open spot I could find. And she was okay. Man, that's nuts.
We don't care if she's okay. It's time to eat snacks.
All right.
She's a side character.
She didn't take out Bannister 1. Who gives a shit about her?
She's Jay's sidekick.
All right. We're going to eat 3 snacks, rate them on a 5-point scale. I love that, like that, indifferent to that, dislike that, and hate that. Let's eat the Nomeda Saladainis.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone look that up?
What the fuck is all this
mean?
shit, Kiker? I don't know what any of these are.
So, I went to the same like kind of European grocery store bias that I got like the Milk Bar and some of those other ones that we had before. This one is from Lithuania, and yeah, Nomeda Saladainis. I have no idea what it is. It appears to be some sort of chocolatey bar, or at least a bar covered in chocolate.
But you didn't even know that when you bought it, that it would be chocolate?
Correct. I just picked 3 things out of a bin.
It's like a bright yellow and red, like circus-looking kind of package.
Oh,
It smells kind of dark chocolatey, maybe.
it's got some sort of nuts, and I feel like almost like fruit, like a fruit goo. This is weird.
It's like granola bar sized, kind of thick. Yeah, the outside is... There's like a thin wafer layer underneath the chocolate. And then inside, like you said, is a very sticky fruit and nut mixture.
What's it taste like? Like, is it like Fig Newton? No, it's like fruit.
I don't know why I want to say like apricot or something like that. Kind of.
This says it's, a quick Google says it's apple.
Okay. Oh, shit. You cut to me rolling around, puking, knocking down my banisters. He ate too much apple.
This description. Glazed 2 layers of waffles spread with fruit mass and nut crumbs.
Mm.
The old fruit mass.
Couldn't say it any better. Geiger, what do you think of Nomeda Saladainis?
It kind of sounds like a vegetarian food. Nomeda salad. But it's not. It's candy bar.
Good one.
It's a good observation I had.
Yeah, very good.
Call me crazy. I kind of like it. I didn't think I liked it at first, but it's kind of like growing on me. The fruit flavor is kind of decent. There's not too many, like, it's a good balance of stuff. There's like a decent amount of chocolate. The chocolate layer is kind of thin, but I think it's enough for what it needs to be. It's got a little crunchiness from the wafer. The nuts are kind of just there. I guess I don't understand the point of the nuts, or the nut crumbs, I should say. But the fruit mass is pretty tasty, and it complements it with the chocolate. I'm gonna give it a like that. I like this thing.
All right, I like that to start, Chad.
So I think the purpose of the nuts is texture, because otherwise just the middle would just be like gooey and probably maybe too overwhelming with the fruit.
What do you think the purpose of D's is? D's mouth.
Yeah. Got it.
Staring
I knew
in
you meant
silence.
D's nuts. Uh-huh.
All right, moving on.
I like the middle part, actually. I like the fruit. I like the nut. I don't like the wafers. I think the wafers themselves have like a little bit of a weird flavor. The chocolate is whatever. I think if the wafers were better, this would be something that I would like, but instead I'm just going to slot it into an indifferent to that.
Okay, I Google translated Nomeda Saladainis into from Lithuanian into English, and it according to Google Translate means dropped the candy.
All right.
So there you go. I don't like the fruit in the middle. I've liked different chocolate bars we've had with fruit. I can't remember some of the names, but there was one like
Turkish
with
Delight.
Yeah, like Turkish Delight kind of stuff. That was more marshmallowy. There was one that had marshmallow and fruit a long time ago, like Malvaban, I think it was called.
Yeah.
That I liked better than this. I don't like this. I'm trying to think of what other bars would have this, like Nutri-Grain bar fruit that they have. That's really gross to me. That kind of real sticky processed fruit.
Kind of like gummy jelly, kind of.
Yeah. So for me, this does not hit home. I actually think the chocolate and wafer tastes fine. It's the fruit and nut mixture that's not good. I'm going to give it a dislike that. So we're across the board here on the first snack. Let's go to the Nero next. The Konafetto Neros. Company is Roshen.
I was wondering if that was a P or an F.
Oh,
I think it's a
Konafetto.
Konafetto. I think.
Konafetto.
Yeah, Konafetto Neros from Roshen. And this is
Ukrainian?
Yeah, Ukrainian, I think.
This is a wafer tube with a creamy milk nut filling. It looks like it's like the size of like a cigarette, basically.
Yeah. So another wafer thing. It's basically the same wafer almost as the other one, I think.
Yeah. But the inside is just a smooth, chocolatey type of filling.
So there's supposed to be nut in there? Is it like hazelnut?
I was about to say, there's something more to it than just straight chocolate.
Yeah. I suppose I got to research that.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Chad's doing it now.
Why start now?
Let's see. Now I have to go to Ukrainian.
What if this one has also dropped the candy?
Picked up candy.
I think it's a walnut flavored cream is what this one says.
All right. Konafetto, according to Google Translate, means horse fado.
What? Horse fado? That clears it up.
No, she's got a real horse fado. You might say.
Why the long fado?
Okay, Chad, what do you think of this?
This is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty good. Like the texture is nice. I think the chocolate is good. It's got a good crunch. I like the flavor of the filling. I don't even really like walnuts that much, but whatever they're doing there is working for me. I wish it was like a little more because I kind of ate that entire thing in like 2 bites.
Yeah.
And that was it. I would like this as like maybe a little bigger form factor, but you know what? I'm going to give it a love dad. I think this is really good.
Wow.
I didn't see that coming.
I can see where you're getting at because it's very, there's something about it that reminds me a little of like the Who Said Moo.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because it's kind of got that crunch and that.
It's not as good as Who Said Moo.
It's not.
For sure.
That inside cream is a similar sort of consistency, though. The wafer is not enough here. I don't know if it was bigger, if it would be good or not. I do think if it was a bigger version, I'd like maybe a lighter taste from that inside chocolate or walnut cream or whatever it is. I cannot go as far as I love that, but I do think it's pretty good. I'm going to give it a like dat. So a love and a like. Strong scores. Geiger, do you agree?
This thing's good. I'm with Chad. I wish it was a little bigger. I think the cream is really I like the consistency. It was like a smooth kind of it was creamy. It sounds stupid to describe cream that way, but it wasn't like a pasty kind of thing like filling that we've had before. And the nut flavor was it wasn't overly nut tasting, but you could tell it was like chocolate and nuts, and it definitely had distinct flavor of both, but it was good. I love that. It's probably a little too rich for my blood, but it's real good. I liked it a lot, so I'm going to give it a solid like that.
All right, a love and 2 likes, a very strong score for the horse Fado. It might end up winning. All right, segment time.
Horse Fado.
Okay, so as you mentioned up top, it's getting pretty close to Christmas, and as we also mentioned, we're doing some European snacks here. So I also sort of went down the rabbit hole of looking into some Christmas traditions, around the world, but largely in Europe. So tonight we're going to examine some of those. Return of one of our fan favorite segments, You Fake Dat. I'm going to present you 3 things here. One of them is going to be a character from some European Christmas mythology. One of them is going to be a European metal band, and one of them I made up. I faked that. You guys will have to tell me which one. So, who would like to go first?
First with List B.
I was going to say, Novak, you want to go first with List B?
All right, Novak, we'll have you go first.
You decide what that means.
All right, here we go. Here's your first set of 3.
Is one of them Krampus?
No, I did not include Krampus because I knew you guys would know Krampus. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great band.
All right, here we go. Mikulas, Shibadrib, and Adagio. So Mikulas, Shibadrib, and Adagio.
What? These are 3 fucking random words.
Just throwing darts.
Not even
at
words.
Shibabo. Right. You can't even read it. You're staring at the screen.
All right, Mikulas is the only one that I remember. The second one you faltered on pronouncing, which makes me think it's at least real. So you made up your own thing you couldn't pronounce. I don't even know why I'm giving any thought to this. All right, I think you probably made up the first one.
Mikulas.
I couldn't even tell you what they are.
Even though that does sound like you think like Saint Mikulas, like maybe there's a connection there, but then that's maybe why Chad made it. You know what? I'm gonna say that's the Christmas one. Okay. I can never find. I overthink myself trying to think of how Chad's mind works.
Impressive amount of sleuthing going on here.
And the second one I'm gonna say is the band, and the third one you made up.
Okay, so 1 point there. Mikulas is Christmas. So it's from Hungary. It's known as the December 6th Santa. And for the Christmas ones, I have a little blurb here I want to read. Mikulas is the Hungarian equivalent of Santa Claus. So I think your thought process was right on there. And as such, does things a little differently. He arrives on December 6th and leaves long before Christmas, delivering presents to children across the country of Hungary. Bad children may be given raw potatoes, which will almost certainly warn them off of being naughty the following year.
Sure.
Yeah. But I mean, you could cook those. Well, anyways. So Adagio is a power metal band from France, and I made up the one that I couldn't pronounce, which was Shibadrib.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, what was the name of it? What is the name?
Shibadrib?
It's not like the last time you said Sheep Trick.
I think it's a power rock band. And the last one, Metallica.
Van Schvalen.
All right. Well, list B sounds pretty tough. I hope list A is better.
All right. Here we go. Geiger.
Mm-hmm.
Bleak black bloop. Black a bleak a blow.
Black and stocking. Fleefer floffen. And Hoferflocken.
I just recorded what those people were saying as I helped them up the steps, and then that's what was singing. All right, here we go.
You can't even get it out of your mouth.
Hafazir, Cotapelto, and Belsnickel.
What the fuck are we doing here? Belsnickel, Colta Zilto, and Hafasir?
Hafazir, Cotapelto, and I should say that is spelled with a K, Cotapelto, and Belsnickel.
All right, well...
Ooh, Belsnickel.
I'll give you a nickel to tickle my Belsnickel. I'm guessing you wouldn't go out of your way to correct the correct spelling of one you made up, unless you're really that anal retentive about your own creations. So I'm going to say have a sneer.
Hafazir.
Hafazir. Ooh, Hafazir. That's got to be made up, of course. Belchnickel is the band, and the middle one with the K is the Christmas thing.
All right, 1 point there. So I did make up Hafazir. Cotapelto is a band from Finland, and Belsnickel from Germany. He is a gift-bringing figure, but he has a very different appearance to Santa Claus and tends to have a different kind of temperament, too. While Santa has a quite warm approach, Belsnickel is known for being theatrical and quite intimidating to children.
Wow.
Aye, Belsnickel.
Oh, and Belsnickel, if you translate it, means horse schnickel. All right, here we go, Novak. Dead Morose, Tad Morose, and Mo Morosa.
Mo Morosa.
So Dead Morose, Tad Morose, Mo Morosa.
You made up Tad Morose.
He said dejectedly. You made up Tad Morose.
A sentence you never thought you'd say in your life.
The other one was Dead what?
Dead Morose. Ends with a Z. Dead
And the last
Morose.
one is what?
Mo Morosa.
I'm just going to go with what seems obvious and have the band be Dead Morose, and then the Christmas guy be Morosa.
All right, that's an ofer.
Oh.
So I made up Mo Morosa. Tad Morose is a Swedish band, and Dead Morose, the Ice Santa from Russia. The translation of Dead Morose is Grandfather Frost, and his aim is to bring presents to children who behave, but instead of doing so on Christmas Eve, he comes on New Year's Eve in person, which is always quite a nice touch.
In person?
So wait, is that middle one Ted Morose? Is a guy?
Tad, T-A-D.
Oh, yeah. It's Theodore Morose. Here to play some power rock.
All right, Geiger, here we go. Let's see if you can take the lead on this one.
Doubt it.
All right. Arctida, Befana, and Nulgo Gas. Arctida, Befana, and Nulgo Gas.
Yep. There's not even like a logical thread I can pull on any of these. Like, it's not like, oh, that sounds made up, or they're all Moros. This is just three random assortments of consonants and vowels. That's all this is.
Well, what if I told you that the Christmas one, whichever one that is known as the Pleasant Old Woman? Would that help?
Okay, so no, but I'm going to say the Pleasant Old Women is Arc Titties. What was the first one?
Arctida.
Arctida. Because that sounds like a pleasant old woman to me. No gas holes.
Nolgo
What's the last one? Nova Gas?
Nolgo Gas.
Nolgo Gas is going to be the death metal. And what's the middle one that you made up?
Befana.
Befana you made up.
All right, so that's an ofer
Jesus.
as well. So Nolgo Gas I made up. Arctida is a Russian band, and Befana, the pleasant old woman. She's believed to be an old woman from Italian folklore who delivers gifts to children on Epiphany Eve in a very similar manner to Santa, although she flies around on a broom as opposed to a sleigh.
These knockoff Santas.
All right, round 3. We're halfway home. All right, Novak, let's see how you do with these ones.
Guar? Is that one?
Guar Morose.
Who's the band that sings Du Hast? Who's that?
Rammstein.
Rammstein, yeah.
Rammstein not on this list. Okay. Tio de Nadal, Whitebeard, and the Ancient Bards. Tio de Nadal, Whitebeard, and the Ancient Bards.
I mean, is Whitebeard too obvious?
Is it?
It is too obvious, but
Yeah.
I can't go not say Whitebeard is the Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's probably just there to throw me off the scent.
Yeah.
The band, the Bards, and what was the other one?
Tio de Nadal.
Nadal is a tennis player. So I'm going to say that the Bards is the band.
And Tio de Nadal I made up.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 1 point for you. So I made up Whitebeard. So you should have followed your gut there.
You should have known that.
Yeah.
Reverse psychology.
Ancient Bards is the band from Italy. Tio de Nadal, also known as a big log. Essentially, it's a big log or piece of wood from the world of Catalan mythology. And the picture was literally just a log and somebody had painted a face on it.
Oh. That's what Santa leaves in your house.
Hey, children. I've been eating all this Beyond Meat. Left a big log in your toilet.
Teo de Nadal.
Yeah, speaking of big logs, we'll probably cut this out, but I'm pretty sure the guy had shit himself when I was because he smelled like it, and also he definitely pissed himself because there was a huge stain around his.
If you're lifting a guy up that much, you know if he shit himself. You would...
I mean, he smelled like he shit himself. All right, moving on. All right, here we go. Geiger.
Yeah.
The Yule Lads. The Children of Bodom. And the Noel Tots.
Okay.
So
here's
Yule
the problem.
Lads, Children of Bodom, Noel Tots.
All right. Now, again, this is probably where I'm going to get screwed logically, but no self-respecting death metal band can call themselves the Yule Lads. That's... You ready for me to blow your fucking face off? I'm the Yule Lad. Or the Totem Tots, or whatever the fuck that is.
Noel Tots.
Noel Tots. So I'm going to say they are the children of what?
Children of Bodom.
Children of Bodom, and then I'll be told I'm wrong.
Okay.
Yule, because also these sound stupid for a Christmas name, a Christmas figure. Yule Lads. What's the last one? The Noel Tots?
Noel Tots.
Noel Tots is made up and Yule Lads is real.
3 for 3. Well done there.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Tossed it off.
The Children of Bodom are from Finland. The Yule Lads, also known as the 13 Pranksters, they come from Icelandic folklore, and their initial purpose was that of naughty little pranksters, but over time, they've grown into figures that take on a similar kind of role to Santa himself.
Wow. Okay. Yule Lads is actually Slipknot's original name.
Slipknot.
Okay. Last round here. Score check. It is 4-2, so still anybody's game.
I need them all.
Yeah. You got to get them all here.
Mm-hmm. They get them all.
All right. Here we go. Novak. Zat. Z-A-T. Zat.
Mm-hmm.
Olent Zero and Ed Guy.
You tried that?
Zat? What's the middle one?
Olent Zero. One word.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
Ed Guy. I want Ed Guy to be somebody who shows up at your house. So I'm going to say he is.
Ed Guy here. I'm Ed. My name's Ed. I'm a guy.
You looking for an Ed? You got him.
Ed Guy. Zat is going to be the band, and you made up the middle one.
Oh, Novak.
Ofer.
I made up Zat. Ed Guy is the band from Germany. And Olent Zero, also known as Captain Big Head. He is celebrated in Basque country and arrives to town late on the 24th of December, dropping off presents to children as they begin their Christmas festivities. He's known as being a calm and mild-mannered figure, which is always pleasant. All right, we'll do the last one here, see if you can really put the nail in the coffin here. And
All right.
Novak. All right, last one. Cristoberto, Nostradameus, and Necht Ruprecht.
Nostradameus.
Nostradamus' lesser known brother who was in a death metal band. I predict the future. I predict your face gonna melt. Listen to me shred.
That does sound like I'm out of it. It doesn't matter. But for some reason, that might be a metal. Now that you mention it,
Right? That's what I'm thinking.
A metal band could name that, right?
Yes, but couldn't also a metal band be named Necht Ruprecht?
I mean, it could. I'm gonna say Necht Ruprecht is some German Christmas figure. Nostradamus is a metal band. What's the first one?
The first one was Cristoberto.
Cristoberto, you made up.
Wow, another 3 for 3, and you even nailed the country for the Christmas one. It is German.
I feel like I have heard the word Ruprecht before. I like German word. I don't know what it stands for, but
so Nostradamus, the band from Sweden, Necht Ruprecht, also known as farmhand into assistant.
Definitely never heard the word though, because I.
Tradition states that Necht Ruprecht is a companion of Santa Claus and that he goes around with him when he's completing his gift-giving duties. He apparently asks some of the children whether or not they can pray, at which time a yes will lead them to receiving gifts such as gingerbread, apples, and nuts. Unfortunately, if they can't, they may receive a bang on the head for their troubles.
If they can pray? Just like physically, can they?
Yeah, I think so. That's what it sounds like.
No, I'm in a wheelchair, Ruprecht. Quack.
He's going up to that woman. My knees don't work good. I can't pray, Ruprecht.
Just smashing her head into the pavement.
It sounds benevolent.
Ruprecht is known for his curb stomp.
All right. That's it.
Very educational.
All right. And I get to learn a little bit about some new music. If anyone hears any of those songs, whoever's editing this can put one of those band songs at the end.
Stick some Nostradamus at the stinger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We've got Prince Polo.
Band.
Yeah. Is that the name of Santa Claus, heavy metal band, or the next candy bar?
Or a giant block-shaped candy bar.
Yeah, this is. I'm trying to think about it in size, what it would look like. Is there any big kind of black?
Like a Hershey's bar, kind of.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or like a fat kind of crunch bar.
Yeah.
But it's got many layers of wafers. We've tried those wafer bars a lot in the past, but covered in chocolate.
And where's this one from again? I forget.
Poland.
There's probably 4 wafers.
Man, the Europeans love their wafers. All three of the things we had tonight, wafer-centric.
The company is Olza, and it just says dark chocolate confection on the front.
This basically just tastes like one of those like chocolate or strawberry or orange like wafer cook. Didn't we do the strawberry one?
Yeah.
Like almost exactly like that, only just not covered in chocolate.
He is right. Now it does say classic on the top, so I wonder if they have other varieties of it. I'd be interested to find out. Geiger pointed out something, that we tried the strawberry things, and if you look back to the archives, that is in the Nick Novak childhood snacks episode.
So check that out. And it plays along with this because I love those strawberry wafers. I think this is excellent. This is right up my alley. Now I agree in that it could use some more. Like if it had some peanut butter to it, right? We could be entering like a Reese stick kind of snack, and it would be amazing. Still, I could taste the dark chocolate a little. I still really, really like it. This is my favorite snack of the day, and I'm surprised how much I enjoy this. I'm going to give this a love debt to start, which is going to make things a little bit interesting as we go into the ratings here, because the Kona, the horse Fetto, had a love and 2 likes. So let's see. Geiger.
All right. Yeah, this is good. I don't think it's almost too much wafer for me. I don't mind wafer, but wafer is, again, just a texture thing. It really doesn't taste like anything. It's just structure for the bar, but it's good. I think the chocolate's good. I like dark chocolate. It's not I could stand for a little more cream in the middle. Like I said, when you bite in, I think all you get is wafer. But it's tasty. I'm going to eat the whole thing. Almost there. I'm going to give it a solid like that. Again, not a love for me, but it's quite tasty. I think gun to my head, which happens all the time. People constantly put guns to my head. Mm-hmm. So it's a real thing. I'm
right
saying.
After they've puked on themselves and set you up, you keep falling for it.
I would probably eat the Konafetto before this, if the Konafetto was a little bigger, especially. But it's still solid like that for me.
All right. It's only two people that know what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Chad, Nostradameus. Bill knows.
The death metal band? No.
Chad gives us a like that. We're going to have a tie. If he happens to love it, Prince Polo will win. But anything less than liking this bar, and he's going to send Konafetto to the win. Chad?
So I think you made a really good point that, Novak, that if this had like peanut butter in the middle there or something like that, that would really elevate it a lot, I think. As it is very plain to me. And because it is so plain, I really taste that chocolate, and I don't think it's very good chocolate. The aftertaste in the chocolate is like a little weird to me. Maybe it's a little too dark, something like that. So I'm unfortunately going to be a little bit of a necked Ruprecht and come on and curb stomp your dreams of taking this to the victory. I am going to give it an indifferent to that because I did stop after 2 bites.
All right. Still a decent score for the Prince Polos. Decent snack. Overall.
Yeah, it's not bad.
This is a nice comeback from some of our recent episode, which have had some low scores. So this is a nice turnaround.
Anti-Jelly Belly.
Right. The Roshen Konafetto Neros is the winner for the day and fits right along with some other things we've really liked here. So no surprise. And Geiger, where can the listeners contact us?
You can. You want to wrap this up? No.
All right.
No, you can reach us.
Nostradamus. Or whatever their songs are.
If you're a member of the band Nostradameus, can you tell me how I'm going to die and also play me a cool power ballad? If you have, if you're that couple that Chad helped into your nephew's house that you King Kong'd your way up the stairs, look, own up to your nephew and just tell him what happened. If you, yeah, that wraps it up. You can get, if you want to ask a question for the mailbag, suggest a snack, tell us what you thought of our ratings, give your own rating, all that good stuff. You can reach us at trieddat@gmail.com. We are on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we have a Twitter, hashtag #YouTriedThat. We have a Facebook group named You Tried Dat. Give us a listen. Tell your friends and family if you like it. Maybe review an app or two. Give us a rating. All that stuff helps out. And as always, thanks for listening.
Geiger, we talked in the past. You, Santa Claus, you've dressed up as Santa Claus multiple times, right?
Yes,
for
I
Halloween,
have.
A few times in your life. What is the draw of that Santa thing? Because I know they have all kinds of races too, right? Where people dress up like Santas. And what drew you to the Santa Claus outfit?
I think it was unique. No, I had never seen someone go as Santa Claus for Christmas. It actually also worked for Halloween. I mean,
I never saw anyone
for Christmas. I've never seen anyone dressed as Santa for Christmas.
My parents never took me to the mall when I was younger.
It also handy because the toy sack, which was a pillowcase, could be used to hold all the candy. So that was ingenious. And what kid doesn't like walk around pretending that they're like fat? You just stuff a pillow in there. That's good fun. Walk around, and then later, slowly as I got older, I don't have to pretend anymore. So that's handy. Now I wish I could go back. Now I have an unkempt beard and a big gut, and I kind of don't understand the appeal anymore. But I wound up finding neat uses for that wig and that beard for like school projects and all kinds of stuff going forward. So it was a good investment.
So you went as Santa as a kid, whereas I went as Santa when I was like 23 on Halloween because I just wanted to like walk up to my friends and be like, "Let me show you my Yuletide log," and a bunch of like really unfunny stuff like that.
There was also the time when the three of us. We went together. We all dressed up as Avenged Sevenfold. Remember that?
I remember when we all went as Knocked Ruprecht. We just have to. It was really obnoxious. We had to keep explaining it. It came off really pretentious. We were bashing people and curb stomping people outside the bar. They made us leave.
All right, we're gonna do a last second little competition here.
Okay.
To name I looked up the top 10 metal bands of all time.
Okay.
You guys are gonna take turns naming them until you can't anymore.
Okay.
All right. So Chad, name a metal band that you think's in the top 10.
Metallica.
Yes. Gagger.
Okay. Anthrax.
I
don't know anything
They're
about
very
that.
popular, but
Yeah. Megadeth maybe would also be in there.
Yeah, Megadeth. Yeah, they're in there.
Okay.
Can you think of any other ones, Chad?
I was out after Metallica, so I'm glad Gagger fucked it up.
Like what else would be like Dillinger? The Dillinger Escape Project. I know some friends like.
Is it like are they talking like hair metal bands like AC/DC
No,
or
like Motley
Def
Crue
Leppard
and
and
stuff.
stuff.
All right, so Black Sabbath,
Black
Okay.
Sabbath, of course.
Iron Maiden, like we know the
Right.
name, right? You see
Yeah.
the shirts.
Yeah.
Slayer, think of them, but he named Megadeth, Judas Priest, Led Zeppelin. They consider metal band. Pantera, like we all know Pantera, but we couldn't name one Pantera song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Tool, who you guys really like, actually.
That's like my favorite band, but I don't know if I'd classify them as metal.
Yeah, heavy metal.
They-
Well, they're
they
not
probably
like,
instead-
folk music.
Yeah, of course. But instead of Tool, probably like I would think that list should have had Hanson, right?
Yeah.
Right.
As a metal band.
Bop, yeah.
They have long hair.
Ook, Matchbox 20, the German band.
Matchbox 20. Swansea. Matchbox Swansea.
Gagger, you speak some German, right?
That's about the extent. Matchbox,
The only-
which is I can say 20. That's what. Yeah.
You don't know 1 through 19, so thank God they're not like Matchbox
Yeah.
14 or something. You'd be fucked.
Du bist so rot wie eine Krebs means you are as red as a crab. It's come in handy a lot.
I have to take a craps. What'd you say?
No, du bist so rot wie eine Krebs. If you do have to take a crap, I can ask, or if I need to, I can say, wo ist die Toilette? And then the answer in our German class was always da drüben, which means over there. So you have to be in pointing range of the toilet to tell someone how to get there. 'Cause otherwise, I mean, I can't say like take a left and go down the stairs. I don't know any of that.
All right. What's German for 3?
Dry.
Dry?
Dry. Yeah.
Dry?
Dry. Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that coming
Trying to make
through?
sure I say it right.
DREI. Dry.
All right. We'll be back next time. We'll be trying out dry brand new snacks.
Trices.
Auf Wiedersehen.